Hey everybody, back with another video. I'm putting this Gravatar back together, and actually a whole bunch of vector games. And I have everything almost back together, but I need to rebuild the power brick. I got to de-rust it and everything. So I'm just going to basically take this power brick out and go to the bench, and then we're going to work on restoring some Atari power bricks. Alright, so these are all my transformers, and I believe this is the one out of the Black Widow. Upright 6173. And it's obviously, some of them are rusted, and the bad thing about using Evaporust is it removes this anodized finish, which is not ideal. But I want to try to keep the stickers on this one, so I am just going to put it in Evaporust and hope that the stickers stay on. All of them are this version of Transformer A37395 01, which is the color vector brick. 37395, yeah. All of them are that except for this one right here that doesn't have anything labeled on the Transformer, which is kind of odd. So I need to check. Based off the pinout, you can tell, and it does look, if you see here where the male pins are versus the female, it does look like that one is correct, but I am going to measure it just to make sure this is a color vector one. But I think they are, and I also have some of Takeman's reproductions, so I'm going to disassemble a couple of them. I'm going to keep a couple of them assembled so I know how they go back together. This one out of my Black Widow or Gravatar does look like the ends were replaced, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it like that or not, because that doesn't look original there for the connectors at the end, but it's definitely filthy, and so I need to disassemble this. I'm not going to film that. Take out all the components, the line filter, test the the big blue right there, make sure that I put the bridge rectifier probably back in the right way. Yeah, because I need to label it, I guess, or maybe it doesn't even matter. Alright, so let me disassemble that, and I might film one. Alright, so I'm gonna film this, but we'll speed it up so it's fast. So I'm gonna remove all this stuff. Alright, this is the 6173 out of Evaporust. I didn't want to leave it in too long, but you can see there's still probably some discoloration. I don't know if that will rust up, but it does take away, you know, some of the anodized finish and stuff. You can kind of see it there. I didn't leave it in too long, so it didn't take away too much of the anodized finish, but the stickers are intact, which is nice. Now, I don't know if there's any rust underneath the sticker. This one in particular is the worst off, but anyway, I'm going to put this one back together, and then I also took apart another one where I'm going to put this transformer into a brand new frame, if you will. So, alright, so I did get this all back together. Unfortunately, I forgot to put in the little black, I don't know, grommet, I guess, like this. So I'm going to have to disconnect this and then put this back in real quick. But yeah, it looks definitely better, but I'm not super happy with just leaving the bare metal showing and the kind of the discoloration and stuff. This is the other, let me zoom out a little bit. This is the other one I did, which is was in worse shape. I think I showed this. I did a before picture. And I left this in the Evaporust for at least 24 hours, and it came out, you know, completely rust-free. There's obviously pitting from where the rust was, but the stickers are still intact, but there's obviously no protective coating on it at all. And the anodized finish just wipes off. When you take it out of the Evaporust and you start to wipe it with a paper towel, I mean, the anodized finish just comes off if it's not already off, which is really weird. But for this one, I probably will paint it, and then the parts that need to be grounded, just scrape away the metal, I guess. There's a guy on Clove that remakes the stickers for these, but it's not ideal. Obviously, once you remove the stickers, it's not original anymore. But I think I will go ahead and paint this one. Like, here's another one right there that needs to be sanded and stuff like that. But you know, you could have some fun. If you paint them, you can do a different color, like, you know, blue instead of gold and stuff like that. But, alright, what am I going to do? I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do next. Alright, and here is a brand new panel that is anodized. You can slightly see some I don't know, weird unevenness, I guess, in the finish. I don't know, the light shining and stuff. It's crazy. But this is from Takeman, which is makes arcade reproduction metal. But he sent, I had 2 of these that came with little part kits, including a little grommet, the fuse holder, new hardware, which is nice. I mean, these are going to be, you know, brand new. I'm going to use 2 of those. And it also came with stickers. Obviously not the serial number sticker though, but obviously you can put the warning sticker right there. No, where does it go? Right there. Warning sticker goes there, and the fuse somewhere right there, I guess, but you get the idea. So that's pretty cool. I didn't even know it actually had these little kits here. That's cool. I guess in case somebody was making the harness themselves and all they had was the transformer, I guess. Yeah, interesting. We might as well use it, I guess. Cool. Alright, interesting. I'm going to paint this one, but it is kind of cool that I didn't know that it was actually stamped, the fuse ratings on this thing. So I removed the sticker here, obviously. It went like this. So this is F2, and it's slow blow, 4 amps. All of them are 4 amps except for F3, basically. And then if you look at how it's stamped, it's obviously the opposite direction, but F2 it says 7 amp, F3 7 amp, F4 3 amp, F5 3 amp, F6 3 amp. So yeah, it's definitely different. It is stamped with even the connectors. This is J4A, J4B, J3, J2. It says 7 amps right there. Fuse F1. It's hard to kind of see. And you can see the anodized finish is actually still under the sticker. So the Evaporust preserved the anodized finish underneath the sticker, and even didn't pull the sticker up at all. I mean, I had to heat it up with a heat gun to get it off pretty clean, but I am going to paint this probably metallic gold, I guess. Or no, I'm going to paint it metallic silver, because that's what I have. And I don't give a crap about making it look original, because this is probably just going to go somewhere else. I'm just experimenting with that. So I just wanted to show that real quick, and we'll come back with more stuff, I guess. Alright, I have my Gravatar. I actually put this grommet back in, put the fuses back in. 7 amp fuse, 4 amp fuses except for F3, 20 amp fuse. I think I have everything wired up correctly. And I have a schematic here. Alright, so I have a schematic here. I also have a little diagram with the voltage, but basically you're looking at pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is a vector monitor, so I know this has been covered 100 times, but pins 1 through 9 right here are the same for all the monitors. I mean, for all the power bricks. And then pins 10 through 15 are different depending on whether it's a raster monitor or not. I have not powered this on yet, so actually it very likely I could have wired something incorrectly and we might blow a fuse, but we're going to power it on. Actually, let me put, so 1, 2, 3, pin 4, it's right there. And let's go to pin 3. And we should get 10 volts DC if this is on right. Alright, whoa, that's not right. Oh yeah, it is. 14 volts. I was like, I thought that said 140 volts. I was like, what the heck? Alright, so yeah, 14 volts unregulated on our 10 volt supply, which is fine. It should be 10 point. And we should get the same on any of these pins here. So that's the same, and that's the same, right? Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is come to our, let's see, pin 7. Pin 7 and pin 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Should be 36 volts AC. And we have 37 volts, 0.8, which is correct. And then we want to go from pin 8 and pin 9. Now pin 8 is a key, so it's actually a male pin in there. That should be 6.3 volts AC. We're getting 6.5. So our transformer is testing okay. And then we have pin 10 and 13 should be 50 volts AC for our vector monitor. It's 52 volts, which is fine. And the center's tapped, so it should be half of that is pin 11. So you see 26.2 to the center tap, 52.5, and if I went from pin 13 to pin 11, we should have 25. Alright, so we know that's good. Now the only thing we haven't tested is ripple voltage. I need to put a load on the 10 amp, on the 10 volt line, so I'm going to hook up a board real quick with some load and test. Alright, so we have our meter set to AC, and let's see here. So, and I have a 1 ohm load on the 5 volt line hooked up to C1 as well as ground. 1 ohm resistor here, which will get pretty hot, but it's a 100 watt resistor. That should we should be able to measure ripple voltage there going to our 5 volt test point with AC. So that's what we're going to do. We'll just turn it on. And now I don't have the sense line hooked up. You don't need it, for this test. Looks pretty low. Let's check our DC voltage. Yeah, 5.2 volts DC. And ripple voltage is pretty low. Very low. 0.001. So that capacitor, that big blue, is good. No reason to replace that. Or no, oh, that's on the 5 volt line. Duh, I should check it to the 10 volt. 0.25, that's what we should be checking. My bad. So yeah, 0.25 on the 10 volt unregulated DC line at 1 ohm. That's good. It just needs to be less than 0.5 volts AC power. So, all right, so that's good. This thing's ready to go back in the cabinet, and that's about it. I'm going to come back and do some more stuff. I'm not super happy, honestly, with the restore I did on the... I might end up taking this back out and painting it. I don't know. After I paint one of these, I just wanted to keep the serial number, but there's a guy in Claw that can reprint that, and maybe I'll just go that route, because it doesn't look great, but we'll see. Okay, so I ended up painting couple of these metallic silver, and you can definitely tell where the... First off, I used automotive primer, which I do not like. I like regular primer, but I didn't have any, so I used this automotive stuff, and it puts, like, I don't know, I don't like the way it what comes out, but anyway, I did metallic silver paint. I put some stickers on it. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not perfect, but honestly, I'm thinking about saving the Takeman ones. I might use them. I'm not sure. I guess I might as well use them, but really just Evaporust and painting them seemed to come out okay. I mean, that's one that looks... I just tested this one, and I ended up just cutting off the ends and soldering the wires there. Yeah, that looks okay. And I tested this one already, so I'm not going to show you testing again, but that one turned out pretty good, I think. Looks clean, looks fine, it's not rusted. The only other thing I would mention is I did sand some of the paint away, because the top of this bridge rectifier, I don't know if you really need it to, but I think this whole metal case is kind of like a big giant heat sink for this bridge rectifier. So I took away some of the paint underneath of that bridge rectifier. But everything else, because the nuts have the little, I don't know what you call them, but they cut into the paint, they're making contact. So everything, I didn't really have to sand any paint to make sure that ground is, there's continuity on the ground all over the place. So yeah, let's see if there's anything else. I think I might set up on the tripod and film reassembling this one. It's kind of a pain in the butt, actually. There's everything I need to put in, and maybe I have 2 more left to go right there, where I might actually use the Takeman Reproduction ones instead. But I thought the silver came out fine. You know what I mean? You could do gold, metallic gold, if you wanted to. But painting them seems just as decent, except for they are pitted, and you can tell it's not perfect, obviously. Like you can see right there, some weird discoloration, but they're going to be at the bottom of the cabinet. Who cares? Alright, wrapping up this video here, I'll try to talk about a little bit of lessons learned here. So this one here was one of my donor bricks, obviously. That's the serial number right there. And I put it in Evaporust, and it kept most of, as you can see, the anodized finish there. But the problem is it did something to it where you can just rub it right off, as you can see. Like, you can rub the anodized finish off, which is just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what Evaporust does to anodized finish. I've covered it before, but there's proof right there that, you know, if you're going to put these in Evaporust, you're probably going to have to paint it, I would say. Otherwise, you're going to need to get it all the way down. Like, this one doesn't have a lot of pitting. It looked really good, just bare metal. So I might keep it, obviously. Or maybe give it to somebody who can use it or whatever. I don't care. So this is what one looks like when it's completely trashed or dirty and probably rusted and all over the place. That one has just a ton of rust all over, which is gross. There's my two silver ones that I painted silver. This one I actually had a spare fuse cover, and I did put stickers on it. My stickers were silver. Still looks okay. I didn't have an extra warning label. So the one thing is, I could have probably did a better job removing the rust, especially on this one. I might go back with some navel jelly just to try to get that off of there, so because it hopefully would be a little bit easy, because I'm not super happy. Same with right there. The tops of these get kind of rusty, and I didn't really want to like sandblast it. I've done that in the past. I just kind of didn't want to I put a lot of effort into it as it is, so I didn't really want to put more. Same thing with this copper, you know what I mean? Like, the copper is not nice and shiny or anything like that, but I guess I could try polishing that up, I don't know. But it's good enough, you know what I mean? Looks much better. And then this one here is my Takeman. Actually, I need to take this off. This is my Takeman Reproduction with obviously a transformer, all new clips. The other thing that I recommend is using a Dremel. If you're going to keep the fuses, use a Dremel, because the Dremel with the wire brush really gets rid of the corrosion. Corrosion, is it corrosion? Whatever. You know, the stuff that's kind of on the metal of the fuses. And then I measured each fuse to make sure that it was like no more than 0.1 or 0.2 ohms of resistance with my meter. So it should be basically 0 ohms, but there's always a little bit of resistance. And I cleaned up the fuse holder with the Dremel, the fuses with the Dremel, everything that has a connector. Basically, I pretty much cleaned up. I even tightened up the connectors within this Molex with my little Molex plug, is just by working it in there and making sure that it's tight. And then this one came out pretty good. Originally, these covers on the transformer do have an anodized finish. Obviously, that came off in the Evaporust process, and I just sanded them and then put some WD-40 on it. But this one looks pretty darn good. I mean, I gotta tell you, the Takeman Reproduction does look nice for sure. All new hardware. I didn't replace the line filter. New fuse. Kept the original connectors. Here's another example where I used the Dremel on the connectors, the little eyelet connectors. I guess they're called eyelet, for the big blue tie down area, as well as on basically anything you saw metal on. This one actually has a little bit different of a bridge rectifier. I did check it out. It is, I think, a 30 amp 100 volt bridge rectifier, so it's fine. And I tested all of these capacitors. I kept the original big blues. I might end up replacing them because I just hadn't ordered. I'm waiting to place an order for some stuff. But all of these under 1 ohm load tested like at 0.25 ripple voltage with AC, so I kept it the same. And this is the last one I have, so I'll probably take this brick and put it over here onto this one eventually, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, one of the ones is in my Gravatar, and then this is probably like Major Havoc, Quantum, and I'll put one of these silver ones in my Black Widow cab, and then I have an extra one obviously for hopefully Space Duel. So that would be probably complete all the vectors that I have anyway for Atari. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm almost out of breath wanting to say all that stuff. Dremel the fuses if you're going to keep the fuses. Some of the fuses I replaced because they had the wrong value, and the ones that had the correct value I just cleaned it up with a Dremel. And so I definitely recommend that, and then test your ohms to make sure you get rid of whatever, you know, corrosion type of stuff is on there. Alright guys, that's it. Atari brick marathon. Took me quite a while to get all these done. Cheers.